Hey guys, Sen here. So Supercell tried to get me with that Monday morning maintenance break right as the raid weekend ended, but not today. I got some stuff pre-recorded. They can't stop me from sharing the biggest sprain attacks in the clan capital. And what other troop fits that narrative better than the Mountain Golem? They also released another graveyard nerf, taking away a whole 3 Larrys from the level 4 graveyard.
Are you serious?
Yep. That is indeed another useless nerf, so I guess next month they'll chip away another 2 Larrys. And so here we go against a Skeleton Park, and of course, as any cultured Golem user would do, we're dropping him down as the first troop on the first attack. You might be thinking, well, shouldn't you try to set up the base on the first attack and try to finish with the Golem on the second? Of course not. That is not how you use the thinking man's troop. You have to use him first thing you can, throw him down, and watch him go to town. So he's gonna go in. You can see this top side doesn't have that much ground coverage. There was just that cannon and that spear thrower near the edge, and that golem can walk over those bushes, whereas other troops have to go around them. And the golem can go over, take those 2 out, then grab that rocket artillery, and he's going to be free to grab a ton of air defenses on the top side of the base. Of course, we're going to put this at ×2 speed because the golem has poor movement speed and he is the slowest thing to watch. It is painful, and look at how much damage he's taking. He just cannot get to any of those defenses shooting at him. And you'll notice that I dropped down 3 graveyard spells all in the same spot between that bottom multi-mortar and the rocket artillery. That is the only morally ethical way to use the graveyard spells in the Golem Pinata strategy. I dropped those graveyards right between those 2 overlapping dead zones, and so they can sneak in with those Larrys at least and take both those defenses out, and then there's just a bunch of single target defenses that the Larrys can mow through. There's actually a couple of traps down there, so they're going to meet their untimely demise. But I even have a couple of rocket balloons that I saved up after all the Larrys were generated because we don't want any air Larrys coming through. And so those rocket balloons can pick off a few more defenses for me. And once they're down and the Larrys all get mowed down, there's just a couple more barbarians on the top side trying to work through those walls. You can see they're actually in the range of the 10 tiles of the reflector, but of course, because the reflector can only shoot back at troops that are attacking it, they're able to sneak through those walls, and now it's time to finish off this base. So we want those ground Larrys once again, so we're going to start off with some 8 hogs, and those 8 hogs are going to finish up that island compartment, as well as when they die, they'll give me those Larrys from those graveyard spells. I'm sending them from all different angles because that giant cannon is of course splash and it shoots in a straight line, so we want to make sure that giant cannon can't shoot too many hogs at once. I'm not dropping any heals on those hogs. I do want them to die after they finish off that compartment and grab all those air targets, because we're going to finish this base off with rocket balloons afterwards. There are so many Larrys working their way through towards that minion hive. That minion hive is actually pretty good at dealing with some swarm troops, but it can't take too many out at once, and so those Larrys are easily going to overwhelm it. We have a couple more rocket balloons left, and of course you see we did have 2 heal spells down there in the troop bar, but of course this is a mountain golem attack, and when you are using the golem, it is not just about trying to take out a base in 2 attacks. You have to send a message, and a message today shall be sent with 2 swag heals on the rivers. Skeleton Park doesn't have those huge rivers that are beautiful to swag your heals on, but those are good enough, and we drop those heals right on the water for a clean 2-shot with the Mountain Golem. Have you ever seen swag heals with the Mountain Golem? No, you have not. Alright, and here we go against a Builder's Workshop, and once again, the Mountain Golem has to be the first troop we deploy, going into all of those defenses. I mean, if you're not dropping down your Mountain Golem as the first troop you use against a base on the first attack, I mean, are you even playing the Clan Capital? The Clan Capital is a thinking man's game, and I mean, look at this. This is a 200 IQ golem going straight into all those defenses without a care in the world, taking out some cannons, some spear throwers, a giant cannon, now waddling his way towards that mega hidden Tesla. Now, I didn't drop down that rage into that first compartment because I noticed that even though there's a lot of defenses down there, there's not that much space that the golem has to walk around, and the rage is mainly to boost the golem's walking speed. Now, I even have some archers up the left side of the base with the second rage to push into that district hall, and it is a perfect symphony of ×2 speed, both the archers as well as that slow moving golem. But once that golem reaches that rage, look at him go. Man, the rage spell boosts the golem speed by like 3 times. It's absolutely insane. Now he's gonna one-shot that giant cannon as well. Man, the golem is so OP. Seriously, don't use, guys, don't use this thing. It's horrible. Anyways, the golem is going in. He's going in towards the blast zone now. Somehow he's at like 30% HP. He's already about to die, but 1 tap against the blast zone, and boom, 2 tap golem smash, and it's down. And now it's time for the Chad bomb at 1/2 speed on that district hall and chain all of those buildings around it. Now, the original plan for this base was I was going to use that Chad bomb to funnel the golem into that blast bow after the golem finishes off that multi-cannon. But if you take a look at that golem's HP, yeah, he's kind of getting blasted down. And once that blast bow finally turns around and gets a couple shots off on that golem, the golem is going to die without ever coming even close within death damage distance of the blast bow. Man, this troop sucks. But we reached 50% of the base down in 1 attack. What an achievement. You have never seen this before. A first attack golem taking out 50% of a base. We are truly the kings of the clan capital here. Now we are going to finish off this base with our hog raiders. A barb to distract as well as hogs to stun that cannon. And now as those hogs move down, I'll distract the blast bow and the giant cannon with a giant of my own, and then try to stun that blast bow and stun all those defenses on the approach. Once again, of course, we're using the golem, so we are trying to swag as many spells as we can, but I'm not able to stun that crusher, and there was a giant bomb, so all my hogs up north get blasted. So I get cold fingers and actually drop down one of my heals. I'm quite ashamed of myself, but as my hogs approach the backside, I have 1 more giant as well as a couple more hog gliders to finish off the base. And of course, we are absolutely going to hold strong and not drop down that last heal spell. Those hogs converge onto that giant cannon that's still shooting at that giant, and they're going to finish off the rest of the base. We're going to swag that heal on top of that top river and take the space out in 2 attacks with the most OP troop in the game, the Mountain Golem. And here we go. I'm about to show you the forbidden arts in the clan capital. Now, we're gonna start off with a couple barbarians. I hope you'll forgive me. That way we can funnel the golem so he will go straight in with a rage spell. I don't know how he's walking over those bridges without breaking them and falling straight through, but now he's into that island compartment with that rage spell. He is working into like 10 different defenses. This is the secret to the clan capital. You find bases with inferno towers in them and send your golems straight into them. We're actually going to zap that first inferno tower that locked on, reset it, and make sure the golem has a little bit more life in him. He has 44,000 HP. Those inferno towers can't do nothing to him. I mean, yeah, he got 30% of the base. And now we are perfectly set up for a finisher. We're going to fast forward through all of these archers, pick off whatever we can left. And I mean, now that the golem has walked his way through, I mean, there's no failing the space anymore, right? I mean, 35%, but that was an important 35%. And like any respectable golem user would do, we're going to stack our rages as much as we can, drop that rage like a Venn diagram, a couple more packs of archers that will fast forward through, and we even fat finger a rocket balloon like true pros of the clan capital. And now we're going to test where that first ram is going. That ram actually isn't going forward, it's going backwards, unfortunately, like those subsequent rams, but we have 3 left, and we have a Chad bomb prepared. That I think I actually forget to put this at time zone half speed, but it's going to take out all of those wizard towers, those air bombs, as well as that inferno tower, and we have a couple of zaps to finish off that air defense that those wizards softened up. And we have 6 more rocket balloons to finish off the rest of the base. We'll put this at ×2 speed, but this might be worth looking at if you don't know how to deploy your rocket balloons against a spread out base. You're going to start sort of on one section of the base and then just work your way through, reinforcing with more rocket balloons as your main pack starts getting focused down by the air defenses and the spear throwers. There's only one more air defense left on the base, and we have 2 rocket balloons. I'm also making sure that I hold on to my last rocket balloon because this attack is actually coming a little bit close on time because of that Chad bomb, those archers, as well as now the rocket balloon. And so sending that rocket balloon from a different angle to make sure we can clean up whatever is left on the base and work through that last hut in the top corner. And man, we just could not fail after that golem setup. And let's finish off with an actual big brain attack against this Balloon Lagoon and not rely on the overpoweredness of the Mountain Golem. We're going to start off with a couple of Larry Barrels off the right side of the base. You can see there isn't any splash defenses. So if we make sure that we use some rams to try to probe for some traps, we're going to be safe with our Larrys to rip through all of that. The first ram goes in, pulls a giant bomb. Those Larrys are going to be free to work through that air bombs and that first few defenses over there. Using the Larry barrels like this is kind of like rolling the slot machine to see whether or not the Larrys get blown up by one small bomb or they're going to rip apart the bottom side of the base. That ram goes ahead, pulls another bomb, and so those Larrys are going to rip through that spear thrower and that cannon. We have that rage spell leading into that bottom section because we're going to fly over with the Super Dragon and do a Dragon Bomb down there. Now those Larrys rip through that air bombs, work into that next compartment, and today I have rolled all 7s on the slot machine because that one Larry, Hero Larry, pulls that giant bomb and the rest of the Larrys are going to get blown up anyways by that giant bomb. But don't worry, we have one more Larry barrel to go ahead, take out that cannon and spear thrower, and we're going to send in a Larry barrel and a Super Dragon to fly over top into that Kool-Aid of Death at 1/2 speed. So first we wanted to lock onto that spear thrower, chain down the cannon as well as the air defense, and then afterwards we want that Super Dragon to fly into that cannon perfectly and splash that rocket artillery and the Inferno Tower. But look, that Larry barrels, they survive somehow and blast through that cannon before the dragon can chain it all down. But the dragon turns around, finish off the Inferno Tower, and then the Larrys finish off the rocket artillery. And up top, we have that other dragon to fly over on top of the crusher, take out the rapid rocket and the spear thrower, and we have a rocket balloon to splash onto that trash building as well as finish off that rocket artillery, and that will force our dragon into the other rocket artillery. And once that rocket artillery goes down, you can see there is nothing on the top side of this base that can interfere with that dragon from blowing it all down. So once that dragon finishes off that level 1 rocket artillery, it's going to splash down that bomb tower, that cannon, and that other cannon next to that district hall. And notice I have not yet dropped down my last rage spell. And the reason for that is it's not going to be for the dragon, and I don't want to speed up the dragon into that district hall because I don't want the dragon to do any damage to that. I want to save all that HP on the district hall so we can finish off with a wizard bomb, a couple of rams to go ahead and distract that rocket artillery, and then 3 wizards go on top of that district hall, chain it all down, that air defense, that rocket artillery. And once that all goes down, those wizards are still going to be at full health, and then they're going to work into that Inferno Tower and try to do as much damage as they can. But of course, we only have a zap spell to help support, try to stun it for a little bit, but that's not going to be enough, and they don't have enough juice in them to finish off that Inferno Tower. But on our first attack, we have taken out 4 rocket artilleries on this base. This base is in so much trouble. Of course, we are going to, with all of our power, try to swag as many heal spells as we can because, I mean, this base has been ripped apart. We're going to use a cannon cart and a giant to try to work into that bomb tower down south, and then there's just going to be that crusher up north that we're going to have to deal with, and hopefully with our hog gliders. A couple of Larry barrels to sprinkle in and distract some of those defenses on the approach. And then from there, we're just going to sprinkle in our hogs from all different angles. Hog glider stuns the crusher after he gets one more shot. It's not going to get another shot on me anymore. And another hog glider up the right side of the base, working alongside those Larrys. And before the defenses even go down, we make sure we swag down those heals before it's too late on top of the river and take out this Balloon Lagoon with an actual big brain 2-shot attack. Alright, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. I will try to get back into streaming this Friday at 5 p.m. EST. And make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already to stay updated, as well as it's the best place to talk all things Clan Capital. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. Golem sucks, and take care.